on an Arwin voice. Oh no, I'm scared. Let's do it. Boom.
Are you ready? Call your mama, call your papa, call your friends. The festivities are about to begin. Boom!
Boom! And that's all she wrote. How about that? Hey, I don't know if I should try to share my camera here. Let me see what we can do. All right, this thing working. Let's see how the lagginess is looking today. Ugh. Thank you, everybody, for being here. I appreciate it, guys and girls, boys and girls. Thank you, I appreciate it. There is already a bunch of people watching. Oh, we need to share the show on. Farmer's Boy just did it. Thank you very much on Discord. I appreciate that. Hey, yeah, very good, very good. Try to do the board, but very good. No, it didn't work out. Thank you all for being here. Shout out to you guys, and shout out to the population of Squeaky Earth, the frogs. They say, where's the viewer count? It should be there somewhere. Oop, there is. Shout out to the population of Squeaky Earth. We got Papa Frog with a lazy eye. We got Mama Frog, and we got Baby Frog. Very underrated one. Baby Frog, right? Papa Frog goes, Mobbit, Mobbit. Mama Frog goes, Mobbit, Mobbit. And Baby Frog goes, Mobbit, Mobbit. See? I remember. That's what they say. I'm gonna have to try and do some ventriloquism next time so you don't see that it's me that moving, my lips are moving. Well, let's squeak it and see how it sounds today. Okay. I think it's a very solid squeaky sound today. I think the population of frogs on Squeaky Earth had given a little bit of a more like nice ring to it, you know? It's beautiful what's going on here. Just beautiful. And I gotta put the leg over here so you don't keep turning as we do the show. You just stay there, right there. We see everybody's eyes. Yeah, I see all the eyes. I see the eyes. Well, I hope everybody is well. I'm doing okay. Could be better, but I'm healthy. I still got a roof under my head, over my head. So mercy for that. Everything is good. Feeling feeling confident that everything is gonna be all right. I really appreciate you guys. A big shout out to all of you. I saw that the boss man, the man himself, John Hansen, was first, even though Rachi 5-0 almost got it. Rachi almost got him. I see you over here. I see also Sean Hawkins in the house. Patio Furniture, what's up? Martin in the house. Charlie Welsh, yeah, Farmer's Boy. Whoop whoop. Marcus Dresden. Justin Franks. What up? That wasn't all CGI. That was all real. All real. All the images that were previously. Whoa! Look at that. Lucky Fish Mars, what's happening? Howard Moore, the man, the boss. Thank you for being here. Mr. Victory's Radio, Bigus Dogus, Cuso, Puerto Rico 1. Jonathan Clark, what's up? Jonathan Clark, hang in there and type, and feel free to type. I'll monitor the chat and I'll give you a range in a little bit. RT96, what's up? Out of Angley and a big super chat. Anamorphic Man with a big super chat. $5. I miss Hobo Jose. I wonder what city he is walking around in. I miss Hobo Jose too. Big fluffy crazy beard. I look a little bit hobo. Look, there's no line up there. I need to get a fucking haircut. I forgot my hat to hide my on a 16 lineup and show my gigantic forehead. But hey, I gotta pimp what I have, you know. So I got. See. Thank you for the super chat, brother. Appreciate it. And we also have Master Khalik. Jomongus made it today early. No, Citizen 9 actually made it early today. Hails to the yeah. Okay. Whoop whoop. Hey, dude, everybody's here. That's awesome. I appreciate you guys. Thank you. Well, tag me, share your videos, images on Discord, and we shall see how the stream is gonna react today. Hopefully, it's gonna work good. We're gonna go ahead to Discord and see what's up. So, let me do the switcheroonie over here. We shut that down. We go to over here. If you go to the Discord server, the Daily Boom, you have to. We're gonna be in the text chat, Daily Boom Uncensored. That's what I see that Farmer Boy tag everyone. I appreciate that. If you guys are members of a different servers, please go and throw a link and tell them that I am live. You don't have to tag everyone. Just throw a link and tell them that we are on right now. So we go scroll down here and we click in the YouTube live and we shall be there. So anybody that will like to join the festivities can coming live and be a part of the festivities. Let's do it. Let's see how is the sound. Farmer's Boy will be the arbiter of how is the microphone sound today.
It sounds wonderful here in Discord.
Very good. So it sounds wonderful in Discord, therefore it sounds like shit on YouTube. Okay, I got it.
Yeah, more than likely, but it sounds pretty good in here.
I see what you're doing. Shit, crapping in my audio techniques over here to stream.
Not at all. That's a complete lot of straw man.
Right. I think it's good.
Have you flip flopped already? Bloody hell, that was quick.
That was early. That was quick.
Yeah.
Blimey. That's good. Dear. Yeah. So far, so good. Stream looking strong, healthy.
Good. Yeah. Let's have a quick.
I got my Squeaky Earth logo going on.
Yep. Yeah, like that. Yeah. So I take it with the different intro and everything. You're still on the laptop then.
Yes, I am.
Yeah.
Just splashing shit around images and stuff and some little audio till I finish the setup. It is what it is, man. I have to grab the PC and bring it over here with the light and kind of take it apart and put it back together. I never done it, but that might do it. I don't know.
Yeah, I've had one or two issues with PCs in the past.
Hmm,
It sounds like you might have killed your main hard drive off. They do sometimes. They'll just die for absolutely no valid reason
good,
whatsoever.
yeah.
You find the one day, the next day you'll go and turn it on, and it's basically saying "piss off."
So sad because I had a lot of downloaded content in there, man.
Well, I had it happen to mine, and I took it to a local chap, and he was fortunately able to sort of ghost everything that was on the knackered hard drive. He could
Mm,
copy it across to another one. Um,
nice.
and as it turns out, he'd just done a job lot for a company. He was replacing all the standard drives over to solid state drives.
Okay.
So he'd got a box literally full of 1 terabyte hard drives.
Nice.
Um, so he replaced mine and put in another one, so I can
Sweet.
use that so I've got two 1 terabyte drives, and one of them I can just use to dump stuff on, just to put photos and anything else on, without cluttering up the drive I actually use to run the PC. So, and I suppose they are these days. They're relatively cheap, but I couldn't have done that myself. I don't have the computer skills, the
Right.
nous to be able to do that. But he didn't. It didn't cost me an awful lot of money. I just sort of took it to him and went, oh, help,
Yeah.
help! It's dead. He said, yeah, no worries, I can sort that out for you. So.
Yeah, man. Yeah, we'll see, man. We'll see. It is what it is.
Yeah.
For right now, at
So,
least we got the show going.
yeah. So don't abandon all hope. I mean, your hard drive
No,
might be dead, but the data on there should still be on there. It's just a matter of getting it back.
how to extract it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Good, good, good. I see. Science set out. Welcome to the show.
Yeah. I just watched his latest video. Um,
What is going on and what is his channel about?
uh, do you know what? I've just watched his video and I can't remember who it was he was critiquing. Good grief.
Science set out. All right, let me share the screen with you and we'll analyze it here in real time. Hopefully the screen. Share your screen. Okay. It should be this right here, and you should be able to see it. Hopefully, just let me know when and if it comes through.
Ah, there we go.
There you go. Yeah.
There we go. We got it. Yep.
Yeah. It might look slightly different because of how small I got this window in the corner, but hey,
Mm.
it's there. So, without knowing the content, I'm gonna just subscribe to it. Okay. So whales to Northern Ireland destroy the globe. Whoa. Is the shape of Earth's surface determined by the one blah 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 something something? Oh, look at that.
Oh, yes, that's the one I've just watched. Wales and Northern Ireland. It's as usual a flat earther who uses an Earth curve calculator, but conveniently forgets about refraction.
There's a navigation challenge. We see the dodo Earth over here. It's adjacent. Yeah, he's been watching some derp in other channels
Oh yes.
to catch the saints. Oh, taboo conspiracy. You know, I'm featuring taboo conspiracy like twice probably. I am prominent in taboo conspiracy channel. So if you appreciate taboo conspiracy, you should be me and not be a flat earther. There's evidence of a flat earth from me in taboo conspiracy channel. Do you believe that?
Well, how far back did he go?
Yeah, bunch of this. Shout out to Science It Out. Keep doing you, man. Keep doing you. I subscribe. I
Yeah.
check it out another
Oh,
day.
so the video only went out, I don't know, half an hour or so, an hour ago. It's worth giving it a look.
Yeah.
Who's exploring the plane? Is the chap he's having a look at.
Huh.
Doing an observation from Wales across to Northern Ireland. They're going, oh, you shouldn't be able to see this.
You got a shout out, Science It Out. See, We shout out also to yeah, 7, bro. 7 on 181. Artist Live. Lots of good people here.
And my biggest fan.
Jomongus! Shout out to Jomongus. Morning
Hello,
from
Jimmy.
Hawaii. Jomongus loves us, man.
Yeah,
There's no,
Hawaii. I can think of worse places to live, I guess.
there's no such thing as bad publicity. Any publicity is good publicity, or something like that.
Well, as Oscar Wilde once said, the only thing worse than being talked about is not being talked about.
Yeah, indeed. I didn't do my proper shilling. Like, hit the thumbs up, everybody. Please share the show. I actually say share the show on Discord or social medias and all the good stuff. And you can text the link and call your mama, your papa, your friends, and all all the people around you, your neighbors. You can subscribe. Give me a few subscribers. So if you go to your friends, you say, "Let me see your phone for a second." You go to YouTube, find my channel, Jose JG, boom, and subscribe in their phones. Grab your family phones, your sister, your brothers, your cousins' phones, and your neighbor's phone. Let me use your phone for a second. You look for YouTube, YouTube Jose JG, boom, unsubscribe from their phones. And that way we'll get a bigger audience watching. Oh, they say like, how in the fuck, who is this guy? And then they will enjoy and they will give me money. That's my next shout out. You can support the boom and give me some money via super chat or PayPal. PayPal is the preferred method of supporting, but if you can't, then hit me up on a super chat and throw in your question, comments, concerns, or trolling method. Use your trolling method via PayPal or super chat and become a member. Boom. How about
And,
that? How about that technique about using your friends, family, and neighbors' phones to subscribe?
I'm sure they wouldn't mind at all. They go, well, hang on, what are all these notifications I'm getting? What's going on here?
Yeah. Who is
Who's,
this?
who's
Who are
this?
them?
Who's Jose JG?
Boom? What the hell?
Uh,
Uh-oh.
oh, actually, if you do it wisely, you don't set the notifications, do you?
There you go. Exactly.
So they'll be a member of your channel, and unless they actually check down their list of channel subscriptions, they won't know.
Indeed,
So that's
exactly.
it. So yeah, do what Jose said, but don't enable notifications.
Oh man. Dr. Bob is in the house. I mean, sorry, I misspoke your name. Dr. Bro is in the house.
How you doing, Jose?
All is good. Good to hear you, Bob.
How are you doing? More importantly, are you recovering?
Oh, I relapsed a little bit, but it seems to be a little bit better today. I'm going to try and make a video a little bit on. I want to have a look at taboo conspiracy.
Is that wise?
Okay.
Well, I mean, Critical Think did a great video on him the other day, talking about the BS that he's trying to sling. But I thought I'd kind of take a different approach to it. The telescope mounts out now, and I had the camera set up last night. I was getting some really good shots, so it's working really nicely.
Good.
Getting 2-minute exposures with a camera, which isn't too bad.
Good. Well, there's this
How have
guy
you guys been
called.
doing?
Sorry, Bob. Go ahead.
How have you guys been doing?
Been doing all right. Yep. Show must go on over here. We got nice, decent feedback and decent audience watching over here. Almost daily. My PC broke, but the show must go on. I'm using the older laptop to stream. We're doing all right. We're doing all right. Me
Yeah,
personally, I got a throat on my frog, a frog on my throat for a few
where all
days
those
now.
frogs went.
And
Well, I started a new
yeah.
project. I'm restoring an old Enfield.
Mm,
Gonna put it, clean it up, put it together, see how it works, and maybe give it to my son-in-law as a deer rifle, or
nice,
future son-in-law, I should say.
nice. Do you hunting? Do you go hunting, Bob? That's random.
Oh, yeah. I used to do it a lot more,
Yeah,
but I still enjoy it. I mostly do target shooting.
nice. I never did it. I never did hunting ever. Puerto Rico or nothing. There wasn't that big in Puerto Rico, and in the United States, I've never done it. But I don't know. I like the feel of that. I go fishing and I like camping and hiking and all the shit, but not just good old hunting. I had never done
I like to slay cantaloupes out at the 600-yard range. That's kind of
it.
my way of having some fun.
Nice, nice. Well, big shout out to everybody in the chat box again. I see a few more people jump in. Bobby Alaskan, what's up? Stefan Mod, uh, all the good people is there. Dora Unku, I see you also. Thank you for being here. Appreciate it. Justin Franks.
Yeah, I used to shoot an Enfield rifle when I was in Army Cadets many years ago. Number 4 that the British Army used to use during the Second World War, good old fashioned 303 bolt action. Bloody accurate too.
Yeah, they're really nice. It's been my deer rifle since I've used an sporterized Enfield as my deer rifle for 40 years. But yeah, this is a Mark III SMLE.
Ah, yes, that's more the First World War vintage, isn't it?
Yeah, I caught it right at the end. It was made in India in 1941.
Oh, yeah,
And
it was still being used, wasn't it? Yeah.
it is covered in goop. Covered in goop. But I think all the parts are there. I took it apart the other day. Here, I'll stick a picture in the chat of the thing taken down.
Yeah,
The
tell me
nice
the
thing
Daily
is that
Boom. Let me
they
show.
are fairly basic, aren't they? There's not, it's not like an automatic or a semi. There's not that many moving parts. It's there's no gas action to worry about. It's just a good old fashioned sturdy bolt action.
Bob, I still got this this thing in my throat, but I keep smoking. What do you recommend? How can I heal that?
Stop smoking those crappy cheap cigars. Might be a good start.
Yeah, the cheap cigars got to go, and gargle with a little warm salt water. That might help you a little bit. If
Warm
it's not
salt
better
water.
in a day or two, better go get it looked at. That salt water will kill the viruses and the bacteria for the most part.
Good.
Little tea with some honey in it.
Yeah, I like that. That's an old school rifle, huh?
I'd stick a little whiskey in it too for a cough suppressant. Purely medicinal.
Old school rifle going on here, Bob.
Yep, that's an old bolt action.
That's pretty much what our soldiers, the Tommies, used in the First World War. That's when the SMLE, the short magazine Lee Enfield, came into use. And it did, although yes, we've replaced it with the number 4. That did, because it's just so bloody reliable. They just carried on in use for years.
They were in service for almost 100 years.
Yeah.
And this one here is kind of the old school. It's got a blade sight on the back rather than a peep, which is kind of interesting. But it's not in bad shape. I mean, the wood isn't cracked.
No, Bob.
That's a little bit of hardware.
If you lose one of these screws, will it still work?
Yeah, more or less. It's an Enfield.
Pins or screws, it might still
Yeah,
work.
stick a bolt in. Go down to the hardware store, stick a bolt in it. It's an Enfield. It'll work.
Okay.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna clean up the stock and I'm gonna sand it. And just in honor of its pedigree, I'm gonna use Old English on it.
Yes.
Nice.
To stain. And then I'm gonna put a little tool wax on top of that.
Well, I mean, you've gotten lucky there that all the wooden furniture is still in pretty good nick. Like you say, if it's not cracked or anything.
Oh, that will get fixed with a good spit on.
Yeah, you got to put epoxy and stuff in it. But if you look at the trigger, assembly right there, look at all that shit that's on it. I mean, all that gunk. No, up above.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
from here,
look at
yeah,
all that.
yeah,
It's just caked on that.
Yeah, thick already. Yeah, dried up,
yeah.
thick.
But
Barrel's, barrel's
is that
rusty,
just
but
caked
it
on
doesn't
grease?
look pitted.
Is it just caked on grease?
Yeah, it's something called creosote.
Oh
It's
well,
stored in.
that's preserved it, hasn't it? Underneath
Yeah.
should once you've cleaned all that crap off, should be
Yeah,
good
it's not
gold
pitted.
underneath.
That's the nice thing about it.
Oh, it's cool. And over here, good clean. Some
Yeah,
residuals all
clean
over
it
the
all
place.
out. You take a little what is that stuff? Basic green or whatever they call it, and you kind of coat it with that, and then you pour boiling water on it and scrub, and it'll get better. It takes all the oil out of the wood and a lot of the stuff, but you just kind of clean it up a little bit and then you refinish it. Give it a light sanding and refinish it.
Cool.
But it's got character to it, a guitar without a guitar without any nicks in it's never been played.
Sure.
That thing's been used.
Yep. Thank you for sharing that, man. That's cool.
Yeah. They're really nice. They're really nice rifles. I've always liked them, I mean, they'll put 5-inch groups at 100 yards with 2 grooves. There's 2 grooves in the barrel.
Mm.
At least that's what I think it is. I've got to have a little better look at it. Some of the match barrels and the sniper variant had like 5, but I'll have to have a look at it and see what it is.
Very
It's a fun little project.
It's nice.
Little piece of history.
Oh yes.
Yep.
That's probably the finest bolt action rifle ever made. A lot of people talk about the Mauser that it was based on. Most bolt action rifles are based on Mausers, but the Enfield is faster. And they used to do something called a Mad Minute. And the Mad Minute, basically you cycle the bolt with your thumb and your forefinger and pull the trigger with your pinky. And, they just, you can get a tremendous amount of, you can get nearly 30 aim shots a minute.
Must
And
be the Enfield.
yeah,
Number 3. Yeah.
but there's an old joke about, there's an old military joke. I don't want to burden everybody with too much here, but there's an old military joke. Is if you ever had somebody on the other side of the woods and you're trying to figure out who they were, what you do is you kind of put one shot over their head. Now, if you get 2 minutes of sustained and very accurate rifle fire back at you, you accidentally shot it at a British unit. If you get 5 minutes of coordinated machine gun fire back at you, they're Germans.
Yeah.
And if you wait about 30 seconds and the entire square kilometer on which you are sitting, your hometown and your in-laws all blow up, that was the Americans. Don't you think Americans?
I knew that.
We have artillery and lots of it.
Yeah, their guns have got wheels. Yeah.
Yeah, our guns have wheels. I have a crew serve deer gun. It's a Remington 700 police sniper, and it's very heavy. It's got a bull barrel on it. I always used to joke that you had to have a couple of guys carry it with you, when you go out to the woods.
Yeah.
All right. There's a comment over here. I want to read. Jomongus typed this comment. He say, "Lemon, lemon, lemon." Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't realize that I was summoning lemon there for a second.
You weren't
Big shout out
supposed
to
read that out
Trust,
loud.
Grubus, and Left Lane also in the call here. What's up?
Did you get your PC sorted? That was a quick question I wanted to ask.
No.
Okay, we'll do a session on that at a separate time, and we'll see
Yeah,
if we
man.
get it fixed.
Yep, appreciate it. Give it another try. What's up, Left Lane? On the road today?
On the road, sitting in traffic in Nashville.
Nice.
Getting close to home, though.
Right. Do you do that dancing, the Nashville dance?
No.
No. Like, why? You ask.
I did some line dancing classes back years ago, and I just
I
couldn't
see.
get into it. You know?
See? You know,
Hello.
well, hello.
How are you?
Now, don't feel offended, but speak of the devil. Oh, shit.
I've been summoned. How are you doing, gentlemen?
Everything's good, man. Everything's good. Good to hear you.
I was in the nether realms doing a blood sacrifice, and then all of a sudden I heard my name from another dimension.
Oh, shit. About about navigation in the old times, Lemon Bird. Just came to my mind the other day. Uh, from your understanding and your perspective, these good old people earlier before the 1400s, before these big ships to discover the new world and all this shit, they navigated a lot via on the sea, and I think they used the celestial navigation. They see the stars and they followed the constellations and all this shit. Did they? I mean, what information did you got in relation to navigation in the old times?
They could navigate by the sky since the sky doesn't change. So they probably just look at the stars and could say, "Oh, I'm in this area because the stars don't change overhead." So you can only have an unchanging star field, one would assume, if the Earth is motionless and at least geocentric. And it's probably easier when you have a flat base of observations to do the observations from, as opposed to a curving ball. But the only thing that appears to curve is the sky, not necessarily the land. So I guess they just needed a sky full of stars that didn't change from year in, year out, and they eventually had a star map in the sky.
Well,
Hey, Lem, where did I was looking for Orion last summer. I couldn't find it anywhere. Do you know where it was?
I do not. I think you can view it from Orion in the northern hemiplane, the inner northern lanes of the flat plane.
No,
nope.
we don't know of anything called a hemiplane, but for some reason in the northern hemisphere, I can't see Orion in the summer. Why is that?
Probably because the stars and the sun do not rotate at the same rate. So the sun is rotating a little faster than the stars. So it's going to block out a little bit of the star field beyond the sun. And you're only going to see the stars, when the sun goes far enough away for it to be dark enough to see the stars that are otherwise behind the sun. You're going to have to wait till, I guess, later in the year when the sun moves a little bit out of the way for you to see Orion again. Otherwise, it's going to block out what's beyond with the glare.
But it doesn't. That's the problem, Lemon. The point Bob's making is the fact that Orion sets below our horizon. I'm observing it at the moment. It's one of the things that I watch because it starts to tell me when spring is. So when the first two stars of Orion start to duck below the horizon, you know that spring is well on its way. This is one of the things that we have known for centuries, if not millennia.
And so the sun rotates a little bit faster than the
No,
stars, and will
it's
block
below the horizon.
star.
It sinks, so it doesn't get as high every night. It's a little bit lower as you move to the summer until you cannot see Orion.
Where is it when
Well,
it goes below the horizon, Lemon?
it's still overhead. You just can't make it out anymore.
That's a pretty damn big constellation.
Yeah.
You sure about
Eventually,
that?
eventually, if you're too close to the ground, everything just merges together into the horizon line.
Funny thing about it is it also doesn't change in size. From the time I first see it to the time I last see it, it's big and it's the same size. How does that work out?
Well, lit objects like stars break angular size rules. They don't become as big or as small as you would normally expect with an unlit object. So stuff like stars, fire, and stuff like that is seen for much longer than angular size rules would normally dictate.
Oh,
Sun.
So if the stars are some sort of light, then they're breaking the rules that we would normally expect
Do they
anyway.
do that so that it fits your narrative?
No, we already know that a candle that has already disappeared a mile or so away is visible all of a sudden when you light the candle. And you can
Yeah.
see the candle for 2 or 3 times you could when it's lit versus when it's unlit. We already know about this.
Is that
So lit objects appear to break angular size rules.
is that magic?
No, it's probably just lit, so it's giving off more energy than an unlit object. So it's able to be seen longer and beyond the normal rules of angular size limitations or whatever.
How far away can we see lit objects?
I don't know. I guess until the surrounding medium of space itself, the ether, eats up all the energy and envelops the light. I don't know. It would be like trying to see light through the ocean. Eventually, the ocean eats up the light and you're in darkness. If space is a similar substance like an ether, eventually we'd be in darkness too,
How
unless we're
far
close
away
enough to
is
light source.
how far away is Orion?
I don't know, a couple light years, according to the normie theory. I don't
Does
know.
it change?
Does it change size? I don't know.
Does it change distance?
Orion, as far as I can tell, all the stars are at the look the same as if they're the same distance or whatever.
Huh. Interesting. Well, the Orion Nebula, I believe, is 1,600 light years away. That's a lot.
I guess it's just a slightly different way of looking at the stars. Local star field that's revolving overhead or something like that.
So, in other words, narrative versus measurement. I got it. Okay.
People use narrative to interpret measurement and to make different theories. So the narrative becomes very key. What narrative are people telling themselves when they look up at this versus that? If I had to gather if anything, the stars are, it looks like they might be sonoluminescence. We get a similar effect with a star in a jar, taking a bubble in water, crushing it, and it emits light and kind of twinkles. So maybe it's sonoluminescence up there.
I just want to
Have
give
you
a
ever actually looked through a telescope, Lemon? Ever?
I want to give Lemon.
No.
I want to give a kudos to all to you, Bob, Lemon, Dross, whoever is commenting and having this conversation. This is what we need. We don't need to interrupt and overtalk and yell and shout. We can have a conversation. Whatever we're right or wrong, we should be able to have this back and forward. So I'm enjoying it. I'm going back on mute. Sorry, I just had to say that. We'll try to keep it this way.
Thanks for listening, Jose. It's nice to
Telescope.
learn,
Yeah. I think Bob asked you, have you ever looked through a telescope? And you guys take it from there.
A while ago, I had a store-bought telescope, not that powerful. I saw some twinkling stuff in the night sky. That was about it.
So you really don't know how to use one then? Okay.
Just a layman's knowledge. But the stars circle overhead year in, year out, the same throughout all time. The star field might have been more out of line with the sun when Joshua told the sun to stand still at the Battle of Ajalon. So the star field keeps rotating while Joshua says, "Hey, sun, stand still." So now it's out of alignment, throwing those, old, rates of rotation out of whack, depending on how long you made the sun stand still with that request. But other
And you
than that,
know
the
this
star
because
field's
the Bible
unchanging.
told you so?
What was that?
And you know this how?
Necessarily, if the sun's rotating in front of the stars and they're rotating at different speeds, well, if he told the sun to stand still and the stars aren't standing still, well, then the stars are going to rotate out of alignment with the sun from what they were aligned with before, whatever that
But
was.
you
With the constellation
believe the
in
sun
front of
stood
behind the
still.
sun.
Why?
Why the sun stood still?
Yeah. You believe that
Because,
happened?
yeah.
Okay. Well, have fun with that.
I mean, if God made the sun, moon, and stars, it's not that much of a jump for God to say, "Hey, I'm going to stop this sun, moon, or this sun rotation anyway." I guess maybe that's why they had armillaries rotating in this sphere, the moon rotating in this sphere, because they
on the
all kind of
armillary
had their own
sphere,
little
the
thing
Earth
going
is a
on.
sphere, right?
Oh, no, nobody gets it all right, but it is geocentric, centered on the Earth. They
Lemon, as
got
far
that
as
correct.
I understand, this was a local phenomenon. No other place. He didn't tell
They're
the sun to stop
assuming that it's local.
everywhere. Just one place.
They're assuming
Just
it's
one place.
local because there
No,
aren't any other accounts. I
because
mean, if
that's
the
what.
same sun is rotating over us all,
No,
one would normally conclude that the same sun that Agilent told to stand still is the same sun for everybody else.
no. What did he tell? What did he tell the sun to do?
You told it to stand still, just like I just.
No, the exact words, Lemon.
We could go to the Bible. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, go ahead and find that. I mean, I
Right.
don't
We
have.
need to find what he tell the sun to do.
The Bible says he told the sun to stand still.
No, he said, Shemesh begive on dom. Give on one place.
So that would lead most people to say that he told the sun to stand still. I think we're just being.
You're guessing when that's not what he did.
What other interpretation is there?
I don't interpret. I just repeat what he said. He said it to stop and give on. Nowhere else.
So that would lead one to assume that he told the sun to stand still. I
Yes,
think there's
and give
some sort of
on. It
a Chinese
stopped, but
account or
everywhere
something of
it
an
didn't.
unusually long day that I have heard about. So I guess there's at least two possible accounts of what, if anything, occurred during that day or whatever day that we're talking about. But as far as I can tell, the Bible says that he told the sun to stand still, and that's
Again, as far as you just need to go to the Bible and verify what you say is true. Come back to me and say, Jake, you were wrong. He told the sun to stop.
so. I brought that up to say that the sun appears to be rotating in one area, layer, sphere, if you will, or whatever, whereas the stars are rotating with a different rate at a different layer or whatever. I would go with a hemispheric sun, moon, and stars, rotating overhead within the firmament, but not actually going above or below the Earth at all. They're just rotating overhead, and once they go too far due to perspective, they just merge into the floor. I think the actual physical rotation of the sun, moon, and stars is probably a lateral circular rotation that is deformed by the firmament or something like that. But who knows? More
Who
like a
knows?
record.
Want to let person just join the Discord. Chimpkins, if you want speaking roles and capabilities to post, send me a direct message on Discord and we'll get you all sorted. Dr. Bob have left the building. Thank you, Bob, for coming in. Appreciate it. Sean Hawkins said that we still have some audio issues because we can still hear Lemon Bird fix the malfunction. Is that harsh, Lemon? Ouch.
Aha!
No, it's not.
But then,
Rim shot.
Shots fired.
oh,
But I'd probably go with the sun, moon, and stars circling overhead like a record laterally with a curve that's given to their apparent path from shining through a curved glass dome.
Well, you can go with anything you want. It doesn't mean it's true.
No, when you're making shit up, it's good to go. Yeah.
Well, when you shine a light through a curved object, it takes on a curved aspect and warps the light. So, based off of what's somewhat reproducible, it appears to be a viable hypothesis.
Really?
Well, I don't think there's a dome. I think it's a massive stainless steel colander.
No.
Well, you see sundogs, parhelions, and other effects that look like the sun
Yeah,
shining.
which are coming through the holes in the colander.
Oh, I like that.
So, looks like there's some sort of solid structure up there that everything's kind of shining
No, it's
through.
got holes in it.
trust, patience, trust. That's the second
Oh,
time.
sorry.
Yeah, patience on allowing finishing their thoughts before you jump in, please.
Just what was this about holes in it or whatever?
Yeah, calendars have holes in them, so it's not a solid object. It's a very porous object.
Yeah, because if they ain't got holes, they're a bowl.
Holes. Like donut holes?
And
Donut holes?
yeah, and the sun at night goes outside of the calendar, and that's why we have lots of stars, because it shines through the holes.
I love it. It's brilliant.
You know what makes my idea any less or more valid than yours?
If there's holes, you'd expect something to seep through it.
Yeah, that's where the
So
rain
if
comes
there's
from.
holes, then what's seeping through it?
We get rain, don't we?
Well, wouldn't we expect the rain to continue or something like that? Why does it start and stop? That's more
Well,
like
you
windows of heaven that open and close than holes that are just there.
well you're assuming that there's water everywhere outside the calendar, and there's not.
Well, we duplicate the star-like effects that we see with shining light on water. It looks almost exactly like a star. And so it's
If
not too much of a jump to even say that there's water up there as well.
if you shine a slightly moving light through a calendar, it twinkles.
Sorry, I laugh at anamorphic mind image he posted.
That's usually
Nice.
used to depict something else, but hey.
Sorry. Talk about
Oh,
holes.
dear.
How dare you?
So, you know,
Lemon, what is this about a hole in the North Pole or the South Pole? The South Pole, I mean, they say they twisted Admiral Byrd's words and they say that there's like a hole in the center of the Earth. Or is that in the North Pole? Or what's up with this hole to the inside Earth or some shit like that?
I think it's just some sort of entry to that, some sort of underground, area.
Just normal
I
big ass
guess.
caves, maybe? Maybe just normal caves?
I think so.
Alright. It's not like there's a whole new world out there with all kinds of crazy shit, right?
There may be some sort of underground city or underground ocean, under the surface of the land. I think people talk about underground cities that are found, underground caverns that are found, underground seas, even. So it's not too much of a jump to say something's down there. I guess the main problem is seeing how people would live down there without some sort of sun or sun-like effect down there to give them warmth unless they're in darkness. But who knows?
You heard that? I hear some people when they speak over here, they got birds, tweet, tweety birds in the background, tweet, 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 something really pretty. I got black crows, just making loud noise. What the hell? Shit! I want also
You got the
pretty
black
bird
crows over.
sounds. Do you hear that?
Yes.
The songbirds come out in the morning, I think.
Oh man.
no, they're out all day actually, and they chorus in the dawn and the dusk.
Interesting.
Yeah, so don't just go, okay, right, that's morning over. Back to bed, guys.
Job's done.
Job's done.
Off.
We'll be back in the evening. See you, mate.
And then one Robin says, "Yeah, let's go for a bath first, mate."
Yeah.
All right.
But as they talk bird, they go tweet, 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 and mines go caw 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 caw, so loud and obnoxious. Fuckers.
I like crows. Very smart birds.
They're spying on me. Birds are spies.
We've got lots of red kites. Bloody great things they are.
Mm.
The
That's
pole
only fairly
hole.
recent as well.
Sorry, the pole hole. I had to say that in one statement. My statement is the pole hole. That's it.
Hole.
I'm done.
So is there a pole for the hole?
I am Paul Holio.
Pole hole.
I need TP for my bunghole.
Isn't this good
But
times
you,
we live in? We live in Lemonbird when people like you are trying to go against all the predetermined science for old known history and trying to just go against the whole thing and bring something new and different.
Well, if you talk about science as an establishment, I guess sure, but science as a method is something that anybody can do. We kind of say out of one side of our mouth that we think science is a method that anybody can perform, whether they're in the institution or not, but then out the other side of our mouth, talk about a very entrenched institution that would probably want to maintain its power rather than innovate or go in new directions or go in any sort of direction that threatens its, stranglehold on power. I mean, is the heliocentric model testable, observable, and repeatable? As far as I can tell,
Yep.
no. It's
Now,
just a
hold on,
philosophical
Dross.
framework that they use to go forward with, their theories and, their data and observations. So on that level, it's not very scientific if it's not testable, observable, or repeatable. It's just the philosophy that the institution has decided to go ahead with and not question.
Well,
Hold on. Uh, Science as the method, there's a little bit of a fault in there. There's a little bit of a misspeak in there when you say science as the method, because depends on what type of science or branch of science. There are different approach that you can take to this method. There are different methods that you can use. Like in astronomy, you cannot use the biology scientific method when you can just add and just little parts per whatever millimeter and put it under the microscope. You cannot do that and then just test it and do the manipulating your own variables, right? On astronomy, you got a different set of, of steps that you can take to make it a scientific. What do you think about that?
Well, I think that we need to be a bit more specific when we're talking about what do we mean, if anything, by science. Are we saying out of one side of our mouth the prevailing philosophy that people don't question, that they axiomatically assume and go forward with, whether there's evidence for it or not? And or are we talking about something that's observable, testable, repeatable, and you do measurements and I come up with a similar, theory to explain what's going on, and or I do the same, observations, make the same observations or whatever, and come to the same or some sort of different conclusion. I see stuff like, the same stars day in, day out, pointing to a geocentric, if not flat surface, not a ball rocketing through space. So it's like we're looking at the same data, we're just coming to a different conclusion.
Dross, go ahead, man.
yeah, again, it's kind of one of those silly misnomers. All you're talking about is really chemistry. That's the type of experiments we do, that or sort of very basic physics, where we can get something and repeat the same thing and then see if it holds consistent, and we come up with a probable cause, not an actual cause. But it's the same way. I mean, very recently, the starlings have returned to my garden. That's the thing I observe every year, and it's normally a sign that spring is well on its way. Same way as I alluded to the observation of Orion. But one of the things we've noticed over the thousands and thousands of years that we've been making observations of the sky, is we've worked out that actually the constellations move against a specific date. So when we're looking at the equinoxes, the constellation behind the rising sun change over a period of time. Now, these are observations, but it's still science. It's still observation of the natural world, and we can start to draw conclusions, or if you want to even say assumptions from that, and we can start to test those assumptions to see if they're valid. It doesn't mean we have to do an experiment per se, where we have to be tactilely touching everything.
Well, in a way, the stars do move, but it's more of a movement from being out of alignment. It's like the sun in its circular track is one gear that is slightly out of time in alignment with the star gear, if you will. The circle of the sun is different than the circle of the stars. And since they're slightly off beat with one another, or off, pattern or off rhythm, off time with each other, you're going to see what is quote unquote an apparent movement but it appears to be the same stars, same sun, year in, year out, just slightly out of alignment. That's all. That doesn't appear to be a very strong defense for us being a ball rocketing through space. It's more like a timepiece that is set overhead like a clock over a unmoving surface that may be flat.
Rather than assuming that the Earth is like some big flat cowpat, the elegant and rich explanation of our orbit around the sun and the tilt and the wobble of the Earth's rotation, both of which are measurable, testable, and repeatable, seems to be a much more consistent observation than expecting sort of the wandering stars or planets to be zipping back and forth and doing loops and curls. It seems to be very, very complicated. And again, something that you have the square root of no evidence for. At least we have these nice, consistent observations, lots of different ones, all pointing in the same direction.
But there's a lot of baggage that comes with that model. You're talking about Earth curvature that we don't see. You're talking about movement that we don't feel. And so at that point, it becomes a theory too far if we have to write in refraction and all of these workarounds to make this preferred theory work. I'd probably just drop it and go with something flat and geocentric with the sun and the stars circling over us, for as long as perspective or limited, vision allows us to see it before it effectively merges with the surface.
I want to give a shout out to the book is out that I am mentioned by name. I haven't read it. I haven't seen how the book looks. But I'm not going to mention the author. I'm not going to mention the book. I'm going to contact her, and I'm going to see if I get a free copy, because if she interviewed me and my name is actually in the book, at least I deserve a free fucking copy of the book. Whenever I get it on hand, I'll shout it out so you guys can go read it. Boom.
Cool.
Congratulations.
Hell yeah, I made it. I might have. I don't know if I recorded the interview when she interviewed me. I might have it. I might have a few clips.
Oh, I know who you mean.
Yes, that was a while ago, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was a while ago. Almost 2 years ago. Almost, I think.
Blimey.
Good.
Yeah, I mean, great, Lemon. Your feelings, cool. You're welcome to have feelings, but again, it's just feelings and assumption. And you talk about the fact that, the globe has to have all these workarounds. No, actually, the problem is the flat Earth is the most inconsistent explanation I've ever heard for anything, because no two flat earthers actually agree, which means there is no good description of the flat Earth. It's all about your personal opinion. Nothing that's demonstrable, nothing that we can validate or verify through observation, whereas the curvature of the Earth has been measured. The vector towards the ground has been compared in different locations, and none of them are parallel to each other. These are all things that show the real problems in you wanting to postulate, the positive claim that the Earth is flat, stationary, with some sort of glass dome over the top of it.
Well, the thing is, your parallels are not matching because you're using visual cues and sight and the visual angles that you can derive based off of very limited sight to try to say that the triangle should equal 180 on some sort of idealized flat surface, but are off because of Earth curve eating up the angle. The problem with that, and the thing that makes that fallacious, is you're assuming that Earth curve hiding and obstructing what is beyond or whatever is the only thing that could eat up these angles and these distances. We've seen people demonstrate by getting close to the floor or the wall of the ceiling that angle and distance is eaten up simply by getting closer to the surface. So this assumption that only Earth curve can eat up these angles and lead to things like spherical excess, things interpreted as curvature curvature or whatever you're using to explain the lost distance and the lost angle is just simply fallacious. There's a second cause that needs to be explored, and the flat earthers are right on the money by saying that it's some sort of visual artifact as opposed to some sort of physical obstruction.
Again, I wasn't talking about spherical excess. You obviously didn't listen to my point there and went off on a totally, to use your words, fallacious direction. What I was talking about is reciprocal zenith angles. As I said, when we actually compare the vector force towards the Earth, i.e. plumb, and we compare them to each other, none of them are parallel. So that doesn't involve great distances. It doesn't involve us looking beyond the horizon. It's not talking about spherical excess. These are short distance observations.
They appear to basically go down to the same thing, because you have to look through a theodolite or some sort of visual optical instrument to establish these angles, these zenith angles, or whatever you're talking about. So visually, you're going to lose angle and distance at diffraction limit because of vision, because of perspective. Eventually,
But
it
not
will
even
look
close
more
to
whatever you're
diffraction
looking at.
limits.
And your idealized triangles that you're trying to use to infer a globe are not going to have this idealized relationship anymore. So it becomes extremely fallacious for you to sneak in the premise that on a flat Earth, all of these angles would be perfectly preserved. All of these distances visually would be perfectly preserved for perfect triangles to work out in my surveying with, whatever you're talking about, zenith angles, spherical excess, or whatever. That's just a fallacious assumption.
Again, not what I was talking about. I was talking about the fact that when you compare two plumbs to each other over very short distances, we're not talking about miles here, we're talking about feet, distances measured in feet. You don't have to go to 3 digits to do it. That we observe that these plumb lines are not parallel to each other. And the fact that you want to say that surveying is not accurate, I think is absolutely ridiculous, especially when done over hundreds of feet. I mean, it is stupid, because the buildings we build, the bridges that we make, all of these things that we use in today's society are built using these instruments, and you're saying they're crap and they don't work, and that is demonstrably false.
No, the problem is we're using theodolites way beyond their intended range of use. If you're building a city within a short range, within the theodolite's optimal range of tolerance, you're fine. But when you're trying to use a theodolite over miles and miles to try to prove
But I've
the
said hundreds of
the
feet,
Earth,
not
you're
miles and
using
miles and
it
miles.
beyond its optimal
He's
range to really give
misrepresenting me,
you
and this is really
accurate
objective.
All right,
angles.
guys,
And
talking
so at
over
that
each other.
point, you're just using the theodolite at a range that is not really optimal for the instrument, and you're getting fake Earth curve. That's the problem.
So Lemon Bird just lied there, because I specifically said in my example, we're not talking about miles and miles, we're talking about hundreds of feet. We're talking about short distance observations where we do these comparisons. So he wants to try and bring a straw man, which shows how weak his position is. 1, he didn't bother to listen. 2, he went off on a wrong argument. 3, he lied about what I said. Yeah, which again shows that he has no argument to rebut this point apart from lying.
Anyway, the point still stands, Druss. You're using optical instruments and optical angles to try to establish a physical fact. That is a huge fallacy, because optically, with our eyes looking through these lenses, looking through these instruments, there's a lot of physical stuff that we can't see, like the fact that it is flat, and some of these distances and angles are simply being dropped, not because of Earth curve, but because of the vicissitudes of vision and perspective. Now, I don't know what else to tell you. You're talking about us measuring curvature where? You're talking about us measuring that these plumb lines don't, point straight up or whatever, on some sort of short distance or whatever. How much spherical excess would you get within like a mile? That's nothing. And I've seen people try to
Hold on,
take this
Druss.
stuff thousands of miles, well beyond the range of theodolites or normal optical instruments. So how much spherical excess are we, or whatever curvature or indication of globe or whatever we talking here over like a mile or two? That's negligible. That could be chalked up to the experimental error of the instrument itself or something.
Just hold
So
on,
I
Russ.
definitely see what you're talking about.
Just hold on. I got a quick request for you, Lemon. Can you give Flat Earth a proper shout out?
What was that?
Can you give the Flat Earth a shout out, like a real shout out?
Well, sure. Looks like it's flat and motionless. Flat Earth.
Thank you. Russ, you want to go answer?
Yeah, sure. So again, Lemon tried to straw man the point once more. Purposefully misunderstanding the point that I'm making, which are these observations, we're not talking about miles. And now he's talking about the tolerance level of the instruments. And the tolerance level of these instruments, we're well within a factor of 10 standard deviation. Is the excess that we're measuring when we compare reciprocal zenith angles for plumb lines. So this is something that's been demonstrated by surveyors for hundreds of years. And again, he wants to try and extend it to miles and perspective and some sort of atmospheric effects when we're talking, distances of 400 to 800 feet, well within the optical ranges, the accuracy ranges that most flat earthers accept they work. But what they have to do, because this demonstrates that they have a problem, is then obfuscate and basically lie. He wants to talk about vicissitude, which is just a posh way of saying changeability, malleability. But we're not having a problem with those factors because we're not doing those type of distances.
When I see the surveyors or whoever trying to weigh in on this topic, they don't use 800 feet Druss. They try to use miles and miles and miles. So at that point, some sort of visual factor would come in. Namely, do you have equal room from the level of the eyes up versus from the level of the eyes down to the surface? Past that point where that block of visual space of, say, 6 feet, like a 6-foot broom, vanishes into a vanishing zone or some sort of vanishing point or a vanishing line of horizon, your angles get highly questionable because now you have the bottom part of your visual scene, the part that appears to ramp up toward the level of the eyes of 6 feet, that bottoms out and says, I can no longer represent anything else but 6 feet of visual information from the level of the eyes down if I'm 6 foot tall. The top part of your visual scene, the part that appears to ramp downward, is expanding out exponentially and saying, I can represent 10 feet, 20 feet, 100 feet. Can you match, how much distance I'm representing, bottom part of my vision, and give me a symmetrical image on the object? The bottom part of your vision, the part that ramps upward when you look down a hallway, is saying, nope, can't do it. I'm bottoming out at 6 feet, so I don't know what to tell you. You're going to have to drop the image. And so past, I guess you could say, the focal point of 6 feet symmetrical representation up and down from the level of the eye, about 3 to 6 miles out, you're going to get some weird angles, some weird effects, and you're going to get something that appears to disappear bottom up because the eye, the optical instrument or whatever, can no longer give you a symmetrical representation of the object. So I think some of these principles that we're talking about, Druss, are highly idealized as to what we think we would see over this perfect idealized scenario, but they don't really represent reality at all.
Okay. When the show
Just very
ends,
quickly, I just want to
yeah,
very quickly.
I know.
Go on.
I'm still got it. I've got to do this. I must shout out the second amount of money that I get in today, and it's $5 by C4. C4 is in the house with a big fiver on PayPal. Thank you very much. And he says, remember us little folk when you become famous. Dude, I'm never gonna become famous. That book ain't gonna make me famous. I'm probably gonna catch 2 new subscribers. And 2 new subscribers out of the book, and maybe 20 subscribers out of me trolling around in other YouTube channels, I ain't gonna get famous. I'm probably not even gonna see a copy of the book. That's messed up. I told her, like, hey, when the book come out, am I gonna get a copy? She's like, yeah, of course. People have read the book, and I don't even know where to get this book. Shame on you, Kelly. Shame on you. I'm gonna send her a message and say, where's my demo? Shout out to C4. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
So just in response, I just want the audience to know, once again, he doesn't want to address these short distance measurements that we're making because it's a problem for him. So once again, he starts quoting about miles and horizons and perspective and stuff disappearing from the bottom, when this is not the point that's on the table. This is not the point that's being discussed. What we're talking is very short observations over hundreds of feet where we're measuring reciprocal angles between two plumb lines, and they are not parallel to each other. And when we actually extrapolate that, we make multiples of those observations, guess what? It's, again, another piece of evidence, apart from the observations that we have from space showing it's a bloody globe, but on Earth, showing that what we observe from space is consistent with what we measure on Earth. And when you extrapolate that curvature out, guess what? You get a globe pretty much the exact size we say it is. And this is why flat earthers have to run away from this argument. And they want to obfuscate and hide. But carry on hiding, Evan.
Well,
Lemon.
we're going to
Wait,
keep going
wait,
until
wait,
you
wait,
get the
Lemon.
last word. But the thing that I would like to leave before you respond yet again with some sort of rhetorical tactic is we cannot differentiate the actual curvature of the land from the curvature of the lens. So at this point, it appears to be highly optical. So we would need to check it with a laser or something that travels straight and true over the land, or we would have to talk about the philosophical principles by which we say either a level line is flat or a level line is.
Was that just me, or did I lose connection?
No,
Oh, that was blessing.
he just stopped.
Yeah, I wanted to ask Lemon if he's aware that the spherical axis is of angles measured on the horizontal plane. So the up, down, all this bullshit, symmetrical space doesn't work there because there is equal amount of space to the right of you as it is to the left.
Yes, Chaiki. You would see the object approaching a vanishing point from all sides, up, down, left, and right. But when you're talking about bottom up obstruction, we tend to be closer to the ground. So that's where you tend to see most of the bottom up obstruction. And by extension, this spherical excess or whatever you're talking about. But you'd see it left, right, up, down, or wherever because of the vicissitudes of vision.
What? Lemon,
By spherical
angles,
excess,
angles
we mean the
measured.
drop angle, the part of the angle and the distance that simply just dropped because your eye just can't make out an image anymore.
What do you mean? You point to an object, zero your device or take the measurements, point to another object, take the measurements, subtract the second one from the first one, you get an angle, Lemon.
But the angle doesn't preserve all distances and all angles to the object. You can see that with two light sources that are separated visually by an angle of 10 degrees. These two light sources will eventually merge into one unresolvable object with no angle of separation between them and no distance seemingly between them.
Lemon.
So because of vision, distance and angle are drop Chaiki, and there's your spherical excess. It's
Yeah.
just vision dropping angle, not an
Yeah.
earth curve.
It's not a vision dropping angle, it's a device that you point to one object, take a reading, point it to another object, take a reading, you don't see both of them at the same time, and you have an angle, Lemon.
But Chaiki, you have to point the optic object and use your eyes to determine an angle that you write
So,
down in your surveying book. Without your
so
eyes looking and making an angle, what are we even talking about here? So it's
yeah,
deceptive for you to
so
say that this instrument is going to catalog all angle when your eye has to see the object and see the separation, which may not always be visible or discernible to the eye
you need
anyway.
to see no separation. Needs to point to the object I'm measuring.
How do you know where to point if you don't even see it, Chaiki? It's
Sure,
still
you see it. If you don't see it, you don't take
down
the
to
measurement.
whether you can see and make out the object and make an angle measurement to it anyway.
Lemon, sure you see it. You can take a measurement if you don't see it.
Seems legit. Shout out to Anamorphic Mind.
Yeah, yeah, seemed perfectly fine. Yeah.
Yeah. It was in the top of the Anamorphic Mind GIF. It was a fight that happened across the street over here. I recorded it with my camera. That happened. This is real.
Yeah, seems legit too. Oh.
Fun, entertaining episode today. Relaxed, little all over the place. Little bit of woo in between. It's always good. I like it. Now, Lemon, if I say woo, do you think I'm referring to you that you're bringing the woo, or is that us bringing the woo and you're rebutting that?
Well, there's a little bit of woo, I guess, on both sides. The Globers have brought this woo about a 23.4 degree axial tilt, but haven't brought actual evidence of it. Evidence that would satisfy an onlooker, like, say, showing a fake NASA photo with the Earth tilting 23.4 degrees relative to the sun in the background or something to that effect. It seems that they've only assumed this woo, if you will, out of necessity for their model to explain, the seasons and explain why we see Polaris way too far south beyond the bulge of equator that should theoretically obstruct Polaris beyond. And so I guess people construct woo for their preferred model, whether or not there's actual evidence to show that it is actually the case or not.
Was that Rob Bottom that said they can see Polaris from far south?
According to the sailors that interviewed,
Right. They
or
said.
the stories he heard, or whatever
He
he was
said.
saying in his book.
So he said. They said.
Yeah.
He
Seems
say, she
legit.
say.
Heard it from a bloke down the pub, and he said it was his brother's neighbour's son's friend or something. So confirmed.
Witness testimony is key, farmer's boy. Documents burn up, things vanish and disappear, but the testimony of the people who saw it remains.
Do you know that witnesses are one of the most untrustworthy sources of information?
Then why do courts of law use them?
And how can you verify the testimony of those individuals from back then?
You'd have to use some sort of historical method, see if there's documents that attest to what they're saying, or other accounts, a preponderance of accounts of a similar nature, and or try to reproduce the effect yourself scientifically. But if you're going to talk about how to prove or disprove historical events, either you have faith in the accounts of the history or you reject them, or whatever.
Whatever.
And how did these sailors knew they are far south? By what map?
One would assume that they take flat maps that are wrapped around the ball conception. I doubt that they have a sphere with proportional continent sizes. We don't even have that now. To get proportional continent sizes, we need to take that idealized classroom sphere, flatten it out, and show the continents in actual proportional relief.
I think we know the sizes of all the continents pretty accurately, Lemon. I don't think that's in contention.
Then simply show a sphere where the continents are in proportion. As far as I can tell, there isn't one. A sphere conception warps and distorts the continents. So how is the sphere necessary to have an accurate map at all? It seems you need to flatten it out anyway.
Google Earth is pretty accurate. And I think the distortion comes when you try and take something that's a sphere and you try and map it onto a flat map. That's where the distortion comes.
Why are flat maps called projections?
Because they're a projection of some idealized globe conception that doesn't actually exist in reality.
I know this because I work with geospatial engineers who actually make maps for the military.
Abort.
Eject.
Why does it need to be projected? Because of idealism. This idea that this world of ideas that we have in our head somehow perfectly maps to reality. You need to check in with reality to make sure that your idealism isn't just going out into left field. This idealized globe conception that we have doesn't appear to be really matching reality.
Do the flat maps
That's
match
just a bunch of
reality?
that's
Any of
just
them?
word salad.
Does any flat map match reality?
We have to flatten out the maps on our globes or our Mercator projections to
No, no,
get
no.
proportional
Not
continent
what I asked.
representation. So it looks like some sort of flat map somewhere appears to match reality more.
That's what I asked. Do you have any flat map that represent reality?
The closest that I can see is the Gleason or the AE. Some sort of
Neither one
north
of those
centered
reality.
map with the
match
continents
reality.
radiating outward.
Neither one of those match reality,
The
Lemon. Mark.
Gleason, where Australia is double the size of Russia.
It's not double the size if you know how to
Of
use the
course,
key properly. If you know
just
how to use the key in proportion to proportion
why
out the
need
size of the
key?
continents properly, you don't have a problem.
Why do I need a key, Lemon? If it
Because the
represents
map is
reality,
made
there are
with
no
a
keys
couple
in reality.
assumptions.
There's no keys in reality, Lemon.
Well, maps are made with key assumptions, some of which can be checked, some can't be
So
checked. For us to get a
let's
perfect
go.
map, we would need to levitate above the whole Earth and look down and see it. Since there's a firmament dome in the way, we can only get so high
We
and
have.
see so much.
Why you bring firmaments now? I'm talking about flat
Because
maps.
that limits how high you can get to see a accurate map
I
of
don't think
the
so.
full scale of
I
the
don't need
Earth.
to see an accurate map. I need to see if the map match reality.
Well, the North Pole being in the center appears to match what we see with compasses. They all
I
point to
agree.
some
I
sort of
agree.
northern section, so
But
that would tend to be a centralized center of a flattish pizza.
but Australia, double the size of Russia, doesn't match reality.
It's a azimuthal equidistant map.
Well,
And so
I
the
don't care.
assumption is that the sun
Lemon,
is circling around the
That's a
central north,
projection.
and
Lemon,
some line of longitude is pointing straight from the central north
Lemon.
through the sun as it circles over these lines of latitude. That would give
Why?
you concentric circles that would
What?
expand outward. And
Patience,
so for the
Shike.
same latitude, I'm sorry, the same longitude, Chaiki, Australia would be thicker on the outer part of those expanding radial pie slices than the same landmass toward the center, which would appear to be smaller based off of the representation in the map. So you'd have to use the key properly to see how much distance per pie slice you need to get the accurate land, size. At that point, America and Australia are equal once you use the scale properly.
Before you
So
answer him, Chike, I know it's my bad, but one quick observation: you have to be patient. I know you're gonna want a like clarification, but you're gonna have to wait. If you're talking to Lemon, you have to wait to the end of the statement because when you interrupt, it gets worse. So you have to hang in there. And a quick question for Lemon in between here before Chike goes on. John Rapp with $2 Australian. Lemon, do you like get off mentally with this crapola? Shout out to John Rapp. Do you get off mentally with what you say, Lemon? That's kind of his question. Oh, well,
going to
answer.
answer, Lemon?
He was gonna
Because he's
answer.
buggered off. Gone.
Ah, Lemon is going.
Yeah.
Who's gone?
Yeah, but listen, Jose, it's not a conversation. When I ask two-word question and I get a lecture of 5 minutes after, can't talk like this.
That's Lemon.
Well, on screen is one of these new standards map of the world, the old school, shared by Farmers Boy. It's a big, good quality.
That's the full Gleason map with the two hands on it that most versions of this map seem to miss. The map doesn't work without the hand, but you can see Australia up in the sort of up in the top left quadrant there. No.
Yeah, damn, so stretched up. Yeah,
Hey.
I'm not sharing my screen, so you're catching up later on YouTube.
Yeah, but you can see that on that Australia is wider than Russia, and Russia in reality is absolutely huge. I mean, Australia's not small, but yeah, it's just stretched out of all proportion.
Yeah, the
You know,
distortion is obvious
it's not
on this
accurate
map.
at all. But then that's not what it was designed for. It's not designed to be a map that you can actually use to travel around the world. It's for working out time zones. That's why the hands are important.
I just asked for flat map that match reality. I don't care which one is it.
Well,
Suddenly I need keys. I take the globe, but I need no keys. If
She's
Australia is half the size of Russia, I take the size of Russia, I compare it to Australia on the globe, I get half.
you need she's.
so cheese.
Yeah.
Or did he say
Isn't
cheese?
Mr. Sensible the she's guy?
Yes, he is.
Okay.
Logic and cheese.
So Lemon Bird, are what you're saying is there are no honest cartographers,
He's
and
got his
no
hand.
honest.
But ask the question,
I'm
even though
sorry.
Lemon left, but even
No, I'm
though
just
yeah,
saying.
ask the question.
Uh, so all cartographers are dishonest because cartographers are still making maps. So according to Lemon Bird, they're all dishonest because they're making something that they know is factually incorrect.
John Rapp have assassinated Lemon with that super chat, with that question about getting off. Shame on you.
Maybe he does. I mean, why else would he do it?
Real Signal say, yes, that is the core of the FE phenomenon after all. There is nothing else he could be doing except fishing for insults worthy of rubbing one out to. Same goes for balanced truth. Balanced truth, they're onto you in the chat. Boom. Woo! I am hungry, and somebody's mentioned like bean burrito. I'm not a big fan, but if I grab a bean burrito now, I eat the fucker, man. Hell yeah. Throw some sprinkle a little bit of adobo seasoning and some hot sauce. Fucking A, that'll be delicious. Yeah, the new standard map of the world. So what this map for?
It's for working out time zones in relation to where you are. That's what the hands are for. If you read the patent that he used with this, that's pretty much what it's for, and that's why you need those two hands. I can't remember exactly how it works. I'd have to read the patent again, but you move the hands according to where you are, and I think the place where you're trying to work out what the time is and what the time zone is. That's what it's for. It's not a map for working out where you're going to geographically. It's a map for working out the time, and that's why it's got two hands on it like a clock. Because it's basically a combination of a map and a clock.
Right. And he got some in the bottom right and bottom left, June solstice and December solstice.
Yeah.
And he give you a little explanation of what that's all about. And then the ruler in the bottom give you more details on the scale, the proportions
Yeah.
on the scale.
I'd have to read the patent again to give a full explanation of just how you use it. But that's pretty much what it boils down to. It's for working out if you know where you are and you want to work out sort of the time and the time difference where somebody else is on the world. I think that's pretty much what it's for. And you move the hands accordingly. I just can't remember the details of how you actually use it.
Let me read this part. Underneath the two rulers in the bottom of the map, there's two rulers drawn, and it says the upper portion of this scale shows the relations that English or land miles sustain to nauticals or sea miles, sometimes called geographical. The lower half shows minutes in degrees of the arc as compared to the sun time by laying a straight edge across the scale. It shows the relations of all the divisions.
Yeah, I mean that one, the upper of the two, that's just if you want to convert from what they called now statute miles, or as he calls them, English or land miles. If you want to convert that to nautical miles, because they are slightly different.
Hmm.
A nautical mile, I think, is I can't remember what it is, but it's slightly shorter than a statute mile. So they're conversion tables, basically.
Nice. All right, we got 55 people watching, but only 32 likes. Please, everybody, hit the thumbs up and hit the like. Let's do it.
Get those thumbs out. Pull your thumb out.
And I try to read this because, as I say, I mean, I show you this is what I got going on. This will be for people on YouTube. This is my layout, my setup. So I'm looking at a lot of things at the same time. Uh, Monitoring on the stream in a tab. I got the screen share. This is what you guys see over here. Uh, I got the OBS. I got the Discord, the chat box, everything in one screen. So it's this corner in my screen is too small for me to read properly. So I'm doing what I can. Lemon have left 58 people watching. Wow. What is this? I'm gonna read underneath where it says December solstice in the bottom right of this map. And underneath December solstice, depends how my eyes play tricks on me here. On December 21st, the sun moves round the Tropic of Capricorn, and during the day lights up the southern portion of the Earth from the Arctic Circle to some proportion of Antarctic ice. To some portion of Antarctic ice. There is no sunlight beyond 80 degrees south, but unknown regions of ice on the 32nd degree on the 23rd of December, the sun commences his southward journey again,
Northwood.
returning to his starting place and thus complete his seasons. And this is a diagram of what I have just attempted to read.
Yeah, because I think when this was made, when he applied for his patent, that was 1892, and they hadn't sort of investigated and mapped Antarctica. Then I don't think that happened a bit later on. So yes, when he calls it, beyond 80 degrees south, unknown regions of ice, which was pretty much Antarctica at the time, because nobody had fully, I think nobody had explored it full stop at that point.
Yeah. Is there a date for this, the construction of this map?
The only date we've got to go by is in the top right hand corner. You've got patent allowed November 15th, 1892.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. Applications
So,
made in England, Canada, France, Denmark, Sweden, Germany,
yeah.
and Austria. Yeah.
So yes, just think. I mean, really, it's not that long ago. I mean, it's what 130 years ago. Antarctica hadn't been mapped, surveyed, explored. People hadn't been to the South Pole yet. Scott and Amundsen was getting on for 20 years later, I think, something like that.
It's longitude and time calculator. That's what this map is, a longitude and time calculator.
Yeah.
It actually says it's big bold letters over here.
Exactly. And if that's not enough of a clue, it's got two hands on it like a clock. This is not a map you use for navigation.
On the projection of modern college, J.S. Christopher, Blackhead, England, and it says scientifically and practically correct. The new standard map of the world as it is. Good times, good times. longitude and time calculator for y'all.
And I
Good, good.
suspect if you could find the original one in that sort of condition, it would be worth a fortune. Although somebody's obviously scribbled over this one before it got scanned. But it's the best one I could find on Tinternet that had, was good quality and had the hands on it. Because most images you find doesn't have the hands on.
Oh, for real.
Uh-oh. Coming to get me. Shit. Had to add some extra special effects on that one.
Was that something flying over or driving past?
It's just, I don't know, passing by. I was too
Oh.
freaked out at squeaking the earth so they don't find me. Wait a minute. Did I just gave it away with my location with squeaking the earth? Fuck yeah.
Oh no.
Oh
They just got to drive or fly around and listen
You
for
got
squeaky.
when you say oh no, you gotta be more excited like Arwin. Oh no.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Oh dear. Oh dear, said Henry's cat.
Oh, man. Come on. No trolling.
But it's trolling responsibly.
Well, that's true, yeah. Troll the wizard is okay. I got him blocked. He blocked me because I shouldn't mess with giants. I was messing with giants. The other day he was talking about giants.
I saw that.
Yeah, so he blocked me. But then the next day I went and I typed hello. And he's like, hey, Jose, I see you. Dude, I unblocked you because I was so pissed off yesterday when you were talking crap about giants. Don't you mess with my giants or something like that? I said, all right, all right. I'll let you be. That was funny.
You was talking crap about giants. What was he talking crap about?
No, because he said I cannot question his belief in giants. He thinks that giants built the pyramids. Period. Nobody can question that, or you will get blocked. You get insulted and blocked by Arwin. So you fuck with Arwin's giants, bro. I'm just saying.
I mean, the Egyptians left evidence and writing of many things. I don't think giants figured in it.
Oh man, what are the corner cutouts for? What are the corner cutouts for? Are there corner cutouts?
Corner. What we know about?
No, I guess yeah. These ones. Yeah, I guess the December solstice little table. In the bottom, you got the legend for the rulers. You know what do they mean?
Yeah.
And in the left hand side, the June solstice little graph table. You know. The cutouts. These ones, I guess, these two rulers. I mean, I don't know. You know what I can do? I'm gonna share a link for this image on the YouTube chat box, and you guys can open it. Open it on your end. You might have a better computer. Put it on full screen, and you can click on it and maximize it a lot better. Or or editing program or something. Just open it and zoom the shit out of it. Should be able to see it really well.
It's quite a high an HD.
Yeah, it's an
version.
HD. Yeah.
You can zoom right in and pick up everything.
Good. On the orange thing. Shout out to Slice Barcane. I didn't remember recognize your logo. Yeah, you got the patch on the eye. End of Cancer Orion leans left at rise. Right at set. South of Capricorn Orion lean left at rise. Right at set. At equator Orion does not lean either way, rise or set. No flat Earth. Shout out to Slice.
Let's see if I can't.
P.S. Go New York Giants. That's like.
I happen to have a copy. There you go. I'll just put that in Daily Boom Uncensored. That is a PDF version of the patent for the Gleason map.
There you go.
And that was patented May the 23rd, 1893. A Gleason time chart. And that gives you a full explanation of what it's for and how to use it. It's only 3 pages.
Morning says here. Wait, they typed morning, handwritten, but it says evening. Evening is the print. It says degrees and latitude reduces to sun time in minutes, but over evening in handwritten says morning there. That's weird.
Oh yeah.
Then over here says 11, I think, in where number 1 is. Says 11. It looks like no evening. In the top of the circle, underneath morn, in underneath number 6,
Yes.
Roman numeral 6 says morn, and it got a handwritten evening.
Oh, so it does.
And then in the right, by noon, where it says noon, number 1 in the right, it says evening. I think that's the handwritten for evening. Huh.
Mm.
9 on in the bottom right, southeast in number 3 Roman says 9 handwritten.
Right. From
It's
noon,
weird,
it
yeah.
goes 11, 10, 9. That's what it says. So written over the room numeral 1, it says 11.
Hmm.
Then the next one says 10. Then the next one, I think, says 9. It's
Okay.
bloody awful handwriting.
yeah. It's a little tricky. I thought it was evening or 11, either or. You know. Good. Farmer's Boy shared that patent on Daily Boom Discord server. So if you guys want to see it, go for it.
Right. So it's only 3 pages long, but it explains what the map's for and how you use it. I can't remember because it's been a while since I read it.
Right.
But I thought I kept a copy somewhere because, why not?
Here's one. Robotham patent the life preserving train carriage.
Oh, wow.
How about that? Thank you, Nerdy Guardy.
Look at the size of that.
Perfect safety railway carriage. How about that?
Blimey.
Safe.
Look at the build of that shit. It's the
Oh, I see.
future.
So each carriage is suspended inside that, basically a dirty, great big drum.
It's like one of today's roller coasters, you know.
Yeah.
And how is that safe?
It's like a pendulum, not a pendulum type of thing, but it's like a pendulum, like a this balance, like the weight, a counterweight thing.
And it won't crash like any other train in case it hit another train head to
That's
head.
cool.
It looks like a bunch of hamster wheels.
Yeah,
It
pretty
does,
much.
but actually look at how big they are. I mean, it says here, the plan here given will not require the slightest alteration in the present structure of railways. But given the standard gauge of railway lines, certainly here in the UK, which is, of course, where this comes from, you've got a line going one way and a line going the other way. Those two sets of rails aren't that far apart, and yet these drums that the carriages are suspended in are huge. I mean, they're several meters wide.
And how does it take turns exactly?
Badly, I would guess. I don't know, because they just all seem to be bolted together on a common sort of frame.
Right.
It'd be totally. Oh my god.
I should have shared my screen earlier anyway. But the corner cutouts is what Sean is saying.
Oh, though, yeah,
So this right here, I'm sharing my screen. I don't know if you
I
see it.
can. Yeah, he's posted it in.
This little triangle corner cutout, right? I think that's what you mean.
Yeah, well, if you follow, there's a line coming up from each triangle,
Yeah.
and one is south, and one is north, and it looks like it's maybe the sun.
And the cutout right here.
Pass. I have no idea what
Then
they're
you go
for.
up, you got the sun here, and then you follow this
Yeah.
curve right here. The sun over here east, and then you go down here south.
Yeah.
So you got the south, when the one that goes straight up in the left. This one south, and then you got east in the top in the center, and then you got north, north of.
I'm not quite sure what they're for.
Yeah, the biggest triangle. And then, of course, hand-drawn circles. Circles,
Yeah.
circles, circles. Like this, I don't know, the sun, what he wanted, or just positions or something. But he was just a kid, maybe, just trying to make his own shit. Woo! Shout out to 50 plus people, 50 plus people still watching here. Thank you guys for coming in. We're looking at this hamster vehicle. I mean the hamster vehicle, the perfect safety railway carriage.
Each carriage would be contained in a large iron cylinder, 12 to 14 feet in diameter. The carriage would be suspended from an axle, which would run the whole length of the cylinder and connect each cylinder to the locomotive.
Yeah, seems safe.
Yeah.
Totally safe.
What's a load of old? Guess what? It never got built.
Oh, I'm gonna get out of here, man. I'm super hungry, and I gotta, the laptop is sitting outside, so I gotta shut it down, put it all inside, and the battery doesn't charge, so it only works plugged in.
Oh, right. Yeah, so that's right. Yeah,
it is what it is. Let's do a round of final thoughts and get out of here for the day. It was a good show. It was a good 2 hours entertainment. I appreciate it.
Laid back.
Yep. All right. Let's go with final thoughts. Shake. Let's wrap it up. Let's get out of here, man.
Yeah, my thoughts is where all the flat earthers? Only Lemon here today. It's kind of boring.
Lemon Bird representing. Farmer's Boy.
Yeah, that was nice and relaxed and laid back and very healthy because we had quite a bit of salad in the middle there. So yeah, thank you very much. That's been a nice, cool, calm, relaxing event. Because you don't always want a shit show, do you?
No, not at all, man. I wasn't feeling it today at all.
No, well, I guess that because even Flip Flop didn't make an airing. So yeah. No, fair play to you. It's been nice.
It's good. It was good. I appreciate it. Grubus, final thoughts.
Yeah, same. Like, yeah, it was pretty chill.
Thank you. And Steve Brorino.
I got nothing. I just get tired of Lemonbird's situational honesty. He believes some things, but doesn't believe other things. But he's an expert in all things. So
Good. All is good, man. Well, thank you very much, you guys, everybody that was in the panel and had to leave earlier. Bob, Lemon, and everybody else. You guys are still here too. People on YouTube, if you guys want to jump into the Discord server, you can do it whenever you want or your own time. Don't forget to leave a like, leave us a comment in the comment section. The first comment will be pinned if it follows YouTube copyright and guideline rules. Support, check on the links on the description box. And I'm getting out of here. Jose JG out. Boom. Check. 1, 2. Okay. All right. I'm out. Thank you very much, everybody, for watching one more time. I really appreciate it. Let me play whatever tune I got here. Let me see how this one is. And we'll get out of here.